All right, we're good afternoon. Ms. Woods, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and your DOC number.
Tiffany Monique Woods, 545546.
All right, and counsel, would you introduce yourself, please?
Good afternoon, Ms. Renata. Robert Lancaster from the LSU Law Clinic, here representing Tiffany Woods today. I can also introduce everyone in the room if you'd like.
Yeah, please.
We have a number of folks who I don't think are showing on the camera, so I want to make sure that the board's aware of all the support that Ms. Woods has. Kashana Woods, her sister is here. Alicia Woods, her sister is here. Tamika Woods, her sister is here as well. Melvin Woods, her brother is here. Elijah Woods, her daughter is here in support today. Nyla Woods, her daughter, her older daughter is also here in support. Trojan Woods, her son is here. I think Najan is on Zoom. Who is her oldest son. So all of her children are here in support today. Also, Ms. Keisha Scott. Keisha Scott is here, who is the grandmother. I believe at headquarters, you should have Tanya Woods there, the cousin, Troy DeLon, the father of Troy John, and Pam McGee, who is also a cousin.
Great. And my record for as far as the folks there, Troy John will be speaking on her behalf. Do you have
we have Troy John speaking here on her behalf. Najan will speak over Zoom, and then Troy DeLone is there at headquarters who can speak on her behalf as well.
Okay, good. Thank you. And we also have the Parole Project who'll be speaking as well. In opposition, joining us by Zoom, we do have Suzanne Ellis from the DA's office, and we'll call on her at the appropriate time. So first, let me just read some identifying information into the record, Ms. Woods, and then we'll get started. Mr. Freeman has been assigned your case, so he'll take the lead on the interview. But first, let me just read some information into the record. So, Ms. Woods, you're here this afternoon. You've submitted an application for clemency. You're seeking a commutation of your sentence. You were sentenced in the First Judicial District, Caddo Parish, in November 2008 to a life sentence for a second-degree murder. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Would you answer Mr. Freeman, please?
Okay, Ms. Woods, good evening. How old are you, Ms. Woods?
43.
Okay, and how long have you been incarcerated on this crime?
17 and a half years.
Okay, and how far did you go in school?
Prior to my incarceration, 11.
What do you have total in education?
I have a BA degree in Christian ministry. I have a paralegal certification. I have.
That's good. I'm just trying to get to make sure you can understand everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Ms. Woods, tell us about the events leading up to this. I know there was a lot going on. Tell us, where were you at in your life when this happened?
I was a 25-year-old woman with 3 other children at the time when I gave birth to my son, Emmanuel Woods. He was premature. He had to stay in ICU. At that stage of my life, I was a young mother who was trying to take care of her children the best she could. And I made some terrible decisions. But the woman out there sit before you today, I'm not that same person.
Okay.
And
It is. Were you involved in Hurricane Katrina?
yes, sir.
Did your child stay in the hospital prior to being released or is premature?
He was in the ICU prior to being released from Tulane Hospital. When he was released from Tulane, he was released in August, the beginning of August. After that, Katrina came. I decided to leave to save me and my children. So we fled to Shreveport. And that's where we resided, in Shreveport. My son passed away 2 months while we was there November the 27th, because of my.
Would you say y'all was struggling at that time?
Repeat that, I can hear you.
Were you struggling at that time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, what was some of the struggles y'all were facing?
We didn't have applicable housing at the time. We were living in shelters. We was refugees at that point. We was living in hotels. We tried to find housing. It took us some months to find applicable housing, and we did find housing. We lived in Hollywood Heights in Shreveport, and my 2 oldest children was going to school, and my remainder children was home with me. I was stressed out. I was depressed. I was lonely. My family wasn't around me. I didn't know if they was alive or not. And I made poor choices, and my son lost his life because of it.
Okay, Ms. Woods, tell me, what was the diagnosis? What did they say led up to your child's death?
Malnutrition. That he died of malnutrition.
And I saw in the report where you attempted to feed him different things.
And yes, I changed his formula to organic milk. And due to my choices, I thought I was making the right choice, but clearly I didn't. And like a couple of months in, he passed away.
And why did you have to change to regular milk?
Because the formula that he was taking, he wasn't swallowing. He was always throwing it up. And then we ran out of WIC vouchers. So I decided to switch it because he wasn't taking the formula like he was supposed to. So I switched it to organic milk. And I thought he was doing better, but he wasn't thriving. And I should have did
Hey, Ms. Woods, I see you took a substance abuse class. Were you drinking any at the time when this happened?
I was drinking. I used to drink beer. Not regularly, but I did drink.
Do you consider yourself an alcoholic?
Yes,
Have you done stuff in prisons to address this?
yes, sir. Since I've been incarcerated, I've been in numerous self-help programs, such as Living in Balance, Substance Abuse, AA, and Life Healing Choices. And I also facilitate Life Healing Choices.
How many other children do you have, Ms. Wood?
I have 4
Okay, are you in
children.
contact with all 4 of your other kids?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see that some have written very favorable requests to you getting out, so you're involved in their life.
Yes, from the beginning.
you know, Leo, there's not much you can do about it, but the judge was opposed and the district attorney was opposed, the sheriff was opposed. The police department had no comment. Your family is unopposed. Your children have all written in. You're low risk, you're low need, medium custody. What other classes have you taken while you've been in prison?
I've attended seminary. I've attended life healing choices, trauma healing, CJI classes. I have attended MRT. I have attended Toastmasters. I'm still an active Toastmaster. Louisiana Lead Out, IC3, Reentry, Serve Safe, Basic American Sign Language, Cage Your Rage, Parenting, Blackstone.
What
And
class have you liked the most?
The class of one of the self-help classes that I think that I really got something, I got a lot of stuff out of all the classes that I've attended, but I can say parenting. I have taken parenting and I also took in a Christian version of it, Hannah's Gift. And it taught me that even though that I'm incarcerated, I still can reach out and have a relationship with my children. And that made me say, you know, even though I'm behind these locked doors or these walls away from my children by distance, I still can be their mother spiritually. And parenting taught me that no matter what, I'm still their parent and I have to show them that they are loved and they are worth it. And no matter what mistake that their mama made, they can be more than what I have become.
Okay, Ms. Woods, I see you've only had 6 disciplinary write-ups. The last one was in 2011 for a disobedience. And
Yes,
see any real serious write-ups. What are some of the community services you provided to other people since you've been in prison?
I have assisted with teaching Onesimus, teaching life healing choices, Hannah's life healing choices, and also I'm a choir director. I was a mentor and I'm still mentoring. I was a mentor before I became a mentor in reentry. So I'm still mentoring people, my fellow inmates on the compound. Council stuff, so I mentor them in that capacity as well. I'm a lifer in Lifers Association, so we pitch in and do things for the community. So I'm involved in numerous of activities in my environment.
Warden, what do you have to say about Ms. Woods?
Yes, sir. You know, we really don't have any issues with Miss Woods. As you can see from what she's talked about, she's participated in numerous educational classes and therapeutic programs while she's been here. Again, we talked about only 6 write-ups, so she's not been any security risk or disciplinary issue on our end. Low risk, no need. She continues to want to improve herself and continuing with seminary. She has done the sign language, which is helpful on our end when we're needing it. And right now she's more recently in inmate council. So she kind of, you know, a jack of all trades, kind of has done wanting to learn and want to do more. So she's very helpful for us on the compound. And just if, you know, things are favorable for her today. I know Mr. Myers is on the call as well, so he could answer any questions, but her intention would be to work with the parole project.
Ms. Woods, what is your plans after the parole project if you were to be released today?
My plan after I transitioned from the parole project is to obtain my own apartment, to get a job, and to be a productive citizen into society, to give back to my people, for as advocating, for as being a mentor to women such as myself so many years ago, to let them know that they don't have to come this way, to ask for help, and just to do productive things and let my story be known.
Okay, I have no further questions. Mr. Mott.
Okay, thank you. So I will hear from the folks who want to speak in support. And first, could we do Troy John Woods there at LCIW?
Yeah.
All right, how y'all doing? I'd like to let it be known that I haven't had much like time with my mother as in growing up, but from what I've had time with her since she's been incarcerated and that she's been reaching out to me and being supportive of me in spite of her situation, she's a totally different woman. I've really seen her grow throughout the years. Like this isn't just me like here and there, like we have a close relationship and I've been there with her as she's taking steps and steps, you feel what I'm saying? And through adversity, she still stays optimistic, you feel what I'm saying? She doesn't take it out on others. She puts all her trust into God, you know what I'm saying? And she taught us to put our trust in God. And like just everything that has transpired, it has grown us, you feel what I'm saying? And I just love what she's done here, you feel me? But I feel like outside, she could be so much more productive to the lives of others like that has been in her predicament, in her situation, and that her story can impact so many people. And she could touch a whole lot of people, especially in the city that we come from in New Orleans, that this is common, you know what I'm saying? Single parents, you know, doing whatever they could to take care of their children. And sometimes tragedy happens, but I feel like she could really, you know, touch the lives of so many people, you know, just outside of this place, you feel me? And I'm just so grateful that we are at this point. But yeah, my mother has grown tremendously, you know, and I seen the transformation from my own eyes, spiritually, mentally, and physically. You know, she does everything she can for the next person. She's not selfish. She's always been what she can do for the next. She'll put herself behind to help somebody else, you know, and I feel like that says a lot about her character and the type of person that she is. So that's really what I have to say.
Yeah, good job. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good job. All right. Nijon Woods,
Yes.
we'd like to hear from you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
What was the question? I'm sorry. I was caught up with what my brother said.
Yeah. What would you like to say? What's your statement? What would you want us to know about your mother?
I would like to say that again, like my brother said, she has grown a lot. She's grown tremendously. She has been there for me and my siblings while incarcerated. I know, especially for me, from my personal experience, when I was in college, she made sure I had birthday gifts. I guess she was in a program where she learned how to knit sweaters and make handcraft jewelry. And she was the only one 2 years in a row to actually send me something for my birthday. So I thought it was amazing. She makes sure I talk to her. She makes sure we are in contact. She cares about what I'm going through. I could vent to her about what I'm going through in the Air Force. I'm in the Air Force right now in Alaska. That's why I'm not able to be there today. So I could talk to her about what I'm going through. We could, give advice to each other. That's what I love. And I could just tell, even from afar, that she's a mother and she wants to be a mother and that she's learned from her mistakes. I'm trying not to get emotional. I'm sorry. But as my brother said, I believe she'd be more productive on the outside, and it'd be great for us all, for all my siblings, to have her there, have her physically in person, not just spiritually, you know?
Yes, sir. And thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. And thank you for your service.
Thank you for your support, and no problem.
All right, and then let's see, Troy DeLone. You want to step up to the podium, please?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Good afternoon, Lauren. I appreciate this opportunity. Everybody up there. I can only echo the same sentiments that which have been echoed so far. I've met Tiffany, both of us are young people, and I'm emotional and all this. I'm over. But when me and Tiffany met in the store, I didn't have a clue. She didn't have a clue. Not making no excuse, real. And when I met this woman, just looking back, she had been put and endured and become so much trauma in her life. At that point, a 19-year-old woman with a child. And I no reason. She ended up being pregnant for me. And 3 months into her pregnancy, I left. So trauma, abandonment, thing she was dealing with me. And so, what happened. And but I like the way she bounced back, her resilience. And I be thinking about it sometimes. It made me feel good sometimes, but I like to look at it as a female version of me sometimes. Because we kept in contact with each other, our incarcerations to write each other. I was joking with our cousin. Sometimes we couldn't even keep up with the letters. We didn't even have a chance to respond to the last letter. We get another letter. I'm like, hold up, we got to address the first letter first. Make a long story short, I watched this woman. Every step I made, you heard what she said. First of all, she had a shoe further back than me because I started with a GED. I went with a GED. She got her GED not long after. She said, I'm thinking about joining the seminary. I was already in seminary on my way out. I said, you should. It's going to change your life, whatever. She went to seminary, got the seminary, did that. Malachi Dash came about. I was on the leadership team with Malachi Dash. She ended up being on the leadership team with Hannah's Gift. We helped her write Psalms 1. She helped her write Psalms 23. I became a mentor on the reentry program. She became a mentor up there. So it was like, man, she wasn't missing. And still right now to this day, although her deliverance has been, she's not giving up. She continued to put up on to the cloud and push forward. And she do everything that she do, just like I did for the children, to make them realize that the curse breaks now. This generation. So that's what I want to share. I can't wait, just like my son said, if this my uncle will give her opportunity, I can't wait to see her redemption because in society, with young women, with the work she had been. You've been a great advocate, and I will be there every step of the way. I'm married, and my wife is in full of this, and of her too. And that's why I'm here today, because she allowed me to come. So I'm sorry, y'all. I hope y'all was able to make out some of that.
We did, we got it. Thank you. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
y'all for your time.
Appreciate it. All right, parole project. Brief comments, please.
Yes, good afternoon. We're here to support Ms. Woods. We know it's going to be a long-term placement, and we are here to work with her. Her case manager is prepared to help her through all the transitional changes, to help with employment, and essentially everything that she'll need upon her release. We just want to reiterate that we know she has a supportive family. And we want the family to be involved. The Parole Project is here to help with this transition and guide her through it.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. Woods, before we turn it over to your attorney, is there a statement you'd like to make to the board?
Yes. Thank you for the opportunity to sit before you and ask for a second chance. I just want to formally say that I know I made a huge mistake, and that mistake and that bad decision allowed my son not to be able to be alive today. And I take full responsibility for that, but I'm asking for mercy in the court to be the mother and I couldn't be physically, so my children that's still here. Thank you.
Mr. Lancaster, excuse me, I believe before I turn it over to you, I do believe we have someone from the DA's office who wants to speak. Is Ms. Suzanne Ellis still on?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry. We'd like to hear.
Yes, thank you. And I'd like to thank the board for accommodating me. I know it was a last minute thing, but I was unaware of this hearing until this morning. I do want to say I've been in ADA. It'll be 26 years later this month. Most of that time spent working with homicide cases. And the reason I made the efforts I did to get on this call today was because this case has stuck with me all these years, like very few have. I prepared this case and presented it to the grand jury. I handled the appellate and federal habeas work, and I cannot forget the sight of Emmanuel Woods. I will go to my grave remembering this baby. One of the reasons for that is I had to view repeatedly the autopsy photos of Emmanuel. Tiffany Woods said over and over and over again for months during this investigation that she didn't see anything wrong with him, that she didn't know anything was wrong with him. No one who saw that baby could have thought that he was okay. The trial judge, because this was a bench trial, went to her reasons for verdict. She was talking about the evidence and she said, "It is just horrifying. It has been one of the most difficult cases I have had as a judge." And then she directed comments directly at Miss Woods. And she said, "At some point, you are going to need to look at these pictures so that you can live with what you and your common law husband have done in this case." She wasn't a single mother. She had a husband, or a common law husband. "I thought I had seen everything in my lifetime, but I have never seen anything like this. There is no doubt in the court's mind that this child starved to death." This was not because Emmanuel was premature. He didn't die because he was ill. He didn't die because he couldn't eat. He was small, but he was healthy. He was eating properly when he was released from Tulane. Every doctor who looked at these records, and there was a lot of testing done, so there was no reason he should have failed to thrive. No reason at all. And in something that still breaks my heart to this day, Nijon, who was 8 years old at the time, told the social worker who responded to the scene that he would try to feed Emmanuel, that he would hold the baby on his chest and comfort him, and that the baby would eat for him, but it would not feed well for other people. And what does that tell you? That the baby was capable of eating. He was just not being provided with even minimally adequate nutrition by his parents, and that an 8-year-old had more patience, more caring, and more concern for his infant brother than the baby's own parents did. So if the baby was healthy and could eat, why did he starve to death? And the answer is easy, because the WIC voucher that paid for the prescribed formula ran out. And Ms. Woods said today that they put milk in his bottle. Well, they did put milk, but they cut it by half with water. They were feeding a premature infant of a few months with half milk and half water. And as the judge summarized in her findings, at the time of his death, they were living in a nice home. They had televisions, they had furniture, they had a stocked refrigerator, they had ample food in the house, and they had not one, but 2 cars at their disposal. They had FEMA money, they had other governmental assistance, and Emmanuel's father, who was living in the home, had a job. And as the judge found, in spite of having money for food, beer, and cigarettes, they chose to starve Emmanuel. And Miss Woods did not, even then, claim ignorance on the point of what she was supposed to be doing with Emmanuel. We had the records to show that Tulane instructed her on what to feed her baby, how often to feed him, and how much. And she testified at her trial, and she said she knew they were supposed to feed him the prescribed formula, but that she and her husband just decided not to do it. They didn't even take the baby to the doctor. He never saw a doctor after he left Tulane, not one time. Furthermore, when I was conducting the investigation of this case, I got CPS records from New Orleans. And this was not the first time Miss Woods harmed one of her children in this way. One of her older children, CPS had to intervene because she was doing the exact same thing. She was feeding the baby a half and half mixture of milk and water instead of formula. And it was harming the child, and CPS had to intervene to protect them. And before the baby could come back, they educated her then on how to feed a baby properly and what to feed them. She knew. She absolutely knew. She had lived with a child being harmed by this course of action before. And here she is with a small premature infant, and she did it again. And just to give you an idea of how bad it was, I wish I had the pictures to show you. Judge Garrett summarized the reaction of the defense's expert pediatrician. This was not our doctor. This was the defense's doctor. And she didn't see pictures of the baby for the first time until she was testifying at the trial. And the court said, and I'm quoting, when she saw the pictures, she was horrified. I need the Court of Appeal to understand that. When she saw these pictures, this was the first time she had seen these. This look of horror went over her face. And this same doctor, the parents expert, said that feeding this baby milk and water would result in the child having seizures within 2 days. The detective who responded to the scene described Emmanuel as very, very thin, with arms and legs that looked like pencils. Yet his mother, for months, continued to deny to everyone, including the psychiatric experts appointed to talk to her in juvenile court, that she ever knew anything was wrong with him or that she had any responsibility for his death. No one who saw that baby could have said that honestly. And I know the board has to focus perhaps more on how Miss Woods is now than she was at the time. And for that, you have her testimony and that of her family and her supporters, and I understand that. But I would ask you to please bear in mind that, and the trial judge made a very lengthy finding in this case. And she made finding after finding that Ms. Woods lied about almost everything. She attributed basically zero credibility to Ms. Woods. Lie after lie after lie. And in just one of many examples, Ms. Woods said she never took the baby to the doctor because she was, in her words, stuck in Shreveport. But her family, there's only 2 adults. They had 2 cars. Her husband drove to work several days a week. They went to Walmart at least twice the week the baby died. You cannot believe what Tiffany Woods says, because lying is what she does, because she cannot or will not accept responsibility for her actions. Her words today were the first time I have heard or read anything from her accepting responsibility. She filed pleadings, I think it was last summer, asking for relief with the court here, and didn't take responsibility for what happened. So I would submit to you that a more accurate view of her character could be found back in 2005, because both the detective and the CPS worker, and then later the psychiatrist who talked to her, described an utter lack of grief or concern on her part over the death of Emmanuel. They said she was completely unaffected. The social worker on the day Emmanuel died, said that she attempted to console Miss Woods about her grief over losing her child. And Miss Woods' response was, and I am quoting here, "I'm not grieving. When I found it was stiff and it was going to die anyway. And I didn't kill it." So you can imagine, and I'm sorry, but you can imagine my outrage today when at the beginning of Miss Woods' questioning, she once again referred to her baby as it. I wrote this down in quotes. It was in the ICU prior to being released. She was not grieved that Emmanuel was dead. She did not accept any responsibility for his death. And she could not, quite frankly, have cared less. And those statements are not my opinion or my belief. Those are her own words. Those words are monstrous. And in my opinion, Tiffany Woods is a monster. And I'm sorry, but I am outraged by her seeking any chance of clemency. This baby was the most pitiful thing I have seen in 26 years. Please do not give her an opportunity at release. Do not give her an opportunity to harm another child, because I am convinced that if she can, she will. She has shown this is not a one-time lapse of judgment. It was a pattern of behavior, and she lacked remorse, lacked caring, wouldn't accept responsibility, and didn't even grieve for her own baby.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Ellis. We do appreciate your participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
May I speak?
No, Mr. Lancaster, we'd like for you to close it out for us, please.
Thank you. And thank the board for the opportunity today for Tiffany to come before you asking for clemency. It's without a doubt that what happened back in 2005 was tragic. I think Miss Woods' record, since she has been incarcerated, really speaks to her true character of who she is today. Her record demonstrates that since she's been here, she has applied herself, gotten an education, gotten her GED, her Associate of Arts from the Theological Seminary, her Bachelor of Arts, paralegal. She's currently an inmate sub. She is a mentor here. She is a leader here. She has taken the programming necessary to really address the issues that impacted her life in 2005. Her entire record while she's been incarcerated, in the brief that I filed in this case on page 3, begins the list of all of the programs that she's completed while she's been incarcerated. All of that, I think, really demonstrates that she has taken accountability for the death of her son. She has applied herself here and is respected among the population here. She demonstrates that someone who comes to prison and applies themselves and really reflects on the issues that led them to prison, addresses those issues, is someone who can succeed, and someone should have the opportunity for a second chance and be released. I'll also mention that the people who actually know Tiffany the best, the people who have spent time with her, both prior to incarceration and during incarceration, are here in support of her. That's the entire, all of her children are here in support. And all of her children, Elijah's now in 10th grade in high school. Nyla is in nursing school. Troy-Jean is, employed at a restaurant. He's in culinary school. And Najan is in the Air Force. They're all doing exceptionally well. They have relied on their mother for support. She's demonstrated that she can be a mother to them, supportive of them, during her period of incarceration. Her reentry plan upon release is solid. She's going to be a long-term client of the Parole Project. They'll provide her with transitional housing. They'll allow her the opportunity after their initial programming when she is able to transition to a long-term apartment that they have, to get her set up to reside and be successful out in the community, serving the rest of her sentence under parole supervision. So because of all of the reasons that I think have been articulated at the hearing, Ms. Wood's record, we request that this board make a recommendation for commutation of sentence to 36 years or whatever sentence that the board would deem appropriate that would give her the opportunity for release.
Thank you, Mr. Lancaster. All right, we're prepared to vote.
I'll move for an executive session. Second.
We have a motion and second for executive session to discuss confidential matters. Any objection? No. All right, we'll be in executive session for just a moment to discuss confidential matters. Just stand by.
Mr. Lancaster, if you can hear me, can you request that that I could have another opportunity to speak? Thank you.
Okay, we are back in regular session. We are prepared to vote, and Mr. Freeman will be voting first.
Okay, this is a very, very tough one. You know, you see things one way, and I clearly heard what the DA had to say, and got me for a couple loops. We do look at what was happening back there. We also look at what's happening today. Which, you know, I listen to the kids, and the ones that are there are doing fine. They're doing well. My vote today is to grant and commute your sentence to 36 years.
Okay, Mrs. Jackson.
My vote is the same. You're not the same person that you were. And if we don't recognize that people who appear before us have the capacity to change, then really there's no point in our reviewing case. I think that you have demonstrated a high degree of rehabilitation, and you've offered outstanding service to others within the institution. So my vote is the same.
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I likewise agree. My vote would likewise be the same. Commute your sentence, recommend the governor commute your sentence to 36 years.
All right, Ms. Woods, and I've listened, like my colleagues, to everything that was said today, and I appreciate everybody's input. I do agree. I don't think that you're that same woman that came to prison almost 18 years ago. I've listened very carefully to your children, and that made an impact on me. So my vote is the same, to make the recommendation that your sentence be commuted to 36 years. So we'll make that recommendation. Good luck. Board House, that concludes our business. We'll sign off. It's 3:10. Thanks for helping us out today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good morning. The Louisiana Committee on Parole is in panel at headquarters in Baton Rouge. Today, serving on the panel to my left is Ms. Carolyn Stapleton. To my right is Danny Barra. I'm Jerry Ledoux. With the staff here at DOC, introduce yourself for the record.
Parole.
Francis Abbott.
Our remote location right now is the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women. And with the offender, please state your name and your DOC number.
Tiffany Woods, 545546.
45546. Thank you. Ms. Woods, you have a large number of people in your support, both here and at the facility and on Zoom. And so we have all of their names recorded for the record. We won't go through all of those at this time. We are going to read some information into the record, and then we'll get started on the interview. So, Ms. Woods, we find that you're a first felony offender, currently serving a 36-year sentence for second-degree murder. You have a parole eligibility date of 9/18/2026, an adjusted good time date of January 29th, 2036, and a full-term date of 9/17/2042. Does that sound correct to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Warden, we appreciate you being here. Would you and your staff introduce yourself for the record?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Kristen Thomas, Warden.
Tara Pete, ARDC Manager. Afton Gaddy, ARDC Supervisor.
Great. Warden, at this time, would you like to make a statement about the offender before we begin the interview?
Sure. Miss Woods, has been here for a good bit of time. She has actually completed her NOBTS or seminary in Blackstone. So I know her and I've talked a little bit in the past. Just I think her NOBTS graduation was just something that she was very proud of. And I think she really does a good job working in the seminary and counseling and mentoring other inmates in the at LCIW. She is not a disciplinary problem. We don't have any issues with Tiffany the entire time that I've been here with her. She is low risk and low needs. I think Mr. Myers is on, so I'll let him talk more. But if she is, she does receive a favorable decision today. She will release to the parole project. So I'm sure Mr. Myers will go into detail on what that will include for her discharge planning.
Thank you so much, Warden. We do have Mr. Myers and several others who would like to speak on her behalf. How would you like to handle that? You want to hear them all? Well, first of all, Tiffany, I would like to hear from you and find out, can you, in your words, tell us why you're before this panel today and why we should consider an early release?
Yes, ma'am. Well, by the time of my crime, I just had my third child. Then I had my fourth child, Emmanuel Anthony Woods. He was born June 23rd, 2005. He was born premature and unresponsive. He was in a NICU for a couple of months. And when he was discharged to my care 2 weeks before Hurricane Katrina hit. Me and my family left our home August the 28th of 2005 because I wanted to save my family, my children. We left. We didn't know where we was going to go, but we ended up in Shreveport, Louisiana. When we arrived in Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, we didn't have anywhere to go. We was homeless. We was just out there. But eventually we found shelter at two gymnasiums for refugees. We went to one of them. We stayed. We had a lot of uncertainties. We was in a large gymnasium with nothing but people. I was afraid. I didn't know what to do, but I wanted my family to be close to me. At the time, my son, Emmanuel, he was still taking his formula, but he was throwing up his formula in large amounts. I didn't know what to do. I was overwhelmed. I was scared, but I still tried to feed my child. I didn't know what else to do, but just to continue pushing. And I asked their dad, Emmanuel, if he can find us a safe place to live. It took him some time to do so, but he eventually found us a home. We moved into that home, and around that time, I ran out of WIC vouchers for my son, Emmanuel. I didn't know what to do. I made the devastating decision. Chase my child's milk, and he was taking his milk because I felt that by him taking it and not throwing up in large amounts like he was when he was taking his formula, I thought he was doing better, but he wasn't doing better. I didn't know how to go about anything but survival mode. When I was giving him his milk, I thought again, I really thought he was doing better. I love all my children. I love every last one of my children. I love my son till today. I love him. And I know he's gone because of me. But I didn't mean to take his life.
Woods, I know it's very difficult. Why don't we go ahead and we're going to go ahead and hear from your son then. Mr. Najon Woods has joined us via Zoom, and we'll go ahead and listen to him. Okay.
Good morning, Parole Board of Louisiana. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Greetings from California, and thank you for taking the time to hear me on this morning. My name is Najon Justin Woods, and I'm speaking on behalf of myself and my 3 younger siblings to express our full and unwavering support for our mother, Tiffany Woods. I want to acknowledge the seriousness of her past actions and the impact that they had. We all lost something that day. My mom lost a son. My siblings and I lost a brother. My aunts and uncles lost a nephew, and my grandparents lost a grandchild, all during Hurricane Katrina, where we already lost everything else. And then we lost our mom physically to prison, but being in prison didn't stop our mom from loving us and mothering us. Even though she was not there physically, she remembered birthdays, sent gifts, wrote songs for us, talked to us on the phone for graduations, proms, and she would always encourage us to help us through our hard times the best she can in the capacity she could. Members of the board, it is my belief that we all need her children. All her children need her, and we long to build our relationship with our mom outside of prison. We all served the sentence with our mom. In her own way, she was there when most family members were not. And I believe she deeply cared for us. Over the years, we've witnessed her grow into a new woman. Through visits and phone conversations, my mom has expressed deep remorse for her past actions and has worked hard to address the underlying issues that led her to incarceration. It is my belief that she has shown commitment to rehabilitation through her programming, maturity, accountability, and her new faith in God, which she shares with us regularly. All her children, our extended family, and the communities that we're a part of are all prepared to support her in housing, guidance, and stability. She will not be alone in this transition, and if granted parole, I know that she will continue improving herself and proving herself. I respectfully ask with humility that the board considers us, her children, and our forgiveness and the love for our mother, her progress and mindset and her behavior while incarcerated, and our family's commitment to her success while making your decision. And I want to thank you for taking the time for allowing me to speak on behalf of my siblings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very well spoken. We also have Stephanie King, who is here at the headquarters, who would like to speak in support. And ma'am, if you'll approach the podium and direct your comments to the panel.
My name is Stephanie King. Some of you may know me or remember me, and some of you may not. I too was once at LCIW with Tiffany. I served 27 and a half years of a 60-year sentence. Before this committee saw in me what I hope you see in Tiffany today. Like Tiffany, I too came from a troubled past and used my time at LCIW to rise and rehabilitate myself. Choose to take advantage of a number of educational opportunities and grow into someone who is doing well today as a law-abiding tax-paying citizen. I remember when Tiffany came to LCIW. She was young and confused and full of greed, but our close-knit family of women took her in and helped her find her way. The turn she has taken has been dramatic and inspiring. She immediately got involved in things once she arrived, taking programs, joining clubs, going to school, and spending quality time with her family during visits. An incarcerated person's schedule in prison can be very busy, and to be able to work your full-time job, mentor, or help others, fulfill your obligations to running programs and ministries is far from easy. However, Tiffany is doing it and doing it well. She teaches soft skill classes, leads an LCIW choir, and fully gives back to mentees and other incarcerated women in any way she can. She has grown and used the time she has been incarcerated to find her footing and become deeply rooted in her relationship with God. She graduated from the New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary with a bachelor's degree. Today, she has a community she never had before. She worked with a tight-knit community of women, of formerly incarcerated women who have been with Tiffany along the way, now reside in Baton Rouge. We want you to know that we are still here to support her as we supported her in prison. She is not alone. She will be loved and she will be supported. Today, she has the Louisiana Parole Project, friends and family completely ready to stand by her side and help her navigate with any issues, situations, or problems she will encounter. And today, I pray you see how far she has grown and all the things she has done to better herself while incarcerated. I pray you see how she has truly transformed her life and become a whole new woman. Thank you.
We also have Carrie Myers with the Louisiana Parole Project who would like to speak.
Yes, good morning, Board. Carrie Myers with Louisiana Parole Project here on behalf of Tiffany Woods. You've read her package. You see the Tiffany, the trauma and dysfunction of her childhood and early teens, the chaos surrounding the aftermath of Katrina, and a person who lacked the skills to cope with everything she had experienced. But the Tiffany that's sitting before you now has coping skills, is educated. She went from not having a high school education to now being college degreed. I'm not going to go through all her accomplishments. I'll let her attorney do that. But you can see they're extensive and extraordinary, what she has done. We're here to support Tiffany in her transition. You can see also the family support and community support that she has. But Parole Project is prepared to also do what we do and help her through this transition. She's already been interviewed and assessed by our mental health team, our employment team. She is absolutely prepared for gainful employment. We have a plan for her transition and support systems, counseling, and the other things that she would need. We are prepared to provide her with long-term housing. Out of a tragedy has come something that I think could inspire people. And Tiffany has done that. And we're here to support her, and we ask this board to consider all the factors in this and grant her parole today.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Tiffany, I think at this point, we have also your attorney, Ms. Hutchinson, and I would like for y'all to decide. Mr. Barra is going to start asking questions. Ms. Hutchinson, would you like to make a statement before or after the questions are asked?
I'd like to go after the questions if that's allowed. Thank you.
Certainly. Mr. Barra?
Well, my questions would be answered by your brief, so I'm defer to let you.
Okay, so well, thank you all again for considering Tiffany and her case. She comes before you today because of the process afforded to her by the Louisiana State Constitution. In 2023, this honorable board recommended her sentence be commuted to 36 years. And as you know, that recommendation does not come easy. So today I'll spend a little time reiterating what was present in 2023 and what is still present today. And she seeks parole at 20 years and about 55% of that sentence. And I know y'all have the brief, but so I'll be brief about it. She has the paralegal certification. She has worked previously as inmate counsel. She has associate's and a bachelor's degree in Christian ministry, and she has hours actually towards her master's degree. And if you see the letter of recommendation by Dr. Sharkey, who's the director of chaplaincy for the Department of Corrections, she talks about how Tiffany kind of has integrated her faith and her ministry into being a choir director. She talks about the choir is not simply about music or performance. Tiffany has intentionally used rehearsals as opportunities for spiritual formation. She regularly opens her practices with scripture and prayer, and often holds meetings focused solely on studying the word of God and building godly character. And it just shows you that she's intertwined her education and her spiritual beliefs in the work that she does regularly. So gainful employment through the Louisiana Parole Project won't be hard. She has crew leadership. She has pesticide. She's able to do pesticide, both residential and commercial, as well as serve safe. She's been a mentor. She's done peer ministry, doing rounds at the infirmary, choir director, and she's taught trauma healing. You'll see from Nijon speaking and her talk about Hannah's gift and learning how to add faith in her parenting from a distance, one of the core classes that helped save her. She's volunteered around the prison and programming and speaking to people that come in, and she's a published author. Exhibit 11 is all her publications, writing through her trauma and her grief. She's taken self-help programs, and all of this was started when Tiffany got in, when she sat down and had to recognize the deficiencies in her life at the time of the crime. Her education, her parenting, her mentorship, and the immense remorse and grief that she has for the loss of baby Emmanuel and the separation of her children. She's connected with those who were harmed the most after the crime, and that's her children, the siblings of baby Emmanuel, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins that are all present with you and who support her. Because of her sentence currently, Tiffany will be released one day. There's no doubt. However, today this committee is allowed to control what that release looks like. Today you can allow LPP to be a part of her success. That transition, including substance abuse classes, grief and trauma management, and family reunification, employment services, housing, that provide for a safer introduction into community and a reentry that poses no threat to society. I believe that you all see that those most affected by the crime have forgiven her. And no one is saying that this crime wasn't horrible or devastating, but they all are saying that they want her home. I think that she has proven by her disciplinary record and what the warden has said that she's put in the work. And we are here to support her, and as well as her family and her children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We do have opposition, and we will allow Ms. Fitzgerald with the Caddo DA's Victim Assistance Committee to speak. But we'll go ahead and you can ask some questions if you want.
I don't have any questions.
Ms. Stapleton, do you have any questions?
I'm going to let Leon speak first.
Ms. Fitzgerald, thank you.
Still muted, Leon. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm not on my regular computer. I'm Leon Fitzgerald. I'm with the Caddo Parish DA's office. I'm director of the Victim Assistance Program, and I'm here to vehemently oppose on behalf of my office today. This is a difficult case. It's very emotional. It's heartbreaking. We've heard a lot about the situation that Miss Woods was in with her family having to evacuate due to Hurricane Katrina. And honestly, at this point, my office is getting a little tired of hearing about that because while we don't undermine that, I know it had to be chaotic and stressful and unprecedented, but it wasn't a reason for Miss Woods to not feed her baby. And so this baby was thriving when, yes, he was born premature, but all the records indicate, all the experts have indicated that when he left the hospital at Tulane that he was driving. He was taking a bottle. He had gained several pounds since he was born. And so we think that that is significant. This baby, let's see, when he was in the hospital in 41 days, he gained 1 pound and 12 ounces. And after he was released into his mother's care, in 2.5 months, this baby gained 7 ounces. His weight at death was 5 pounds and 13 ounces, and he was about 5 months old. So that's unacceptable. Once the family relocated to Shreveport, they were eventually able to get a nice brick house. If you saw the pictures from the scene, they had made a home. It was well furnished with nice furniture. It had beds. It also had cases of baby food in the photographs. So they were getting baby food in jars for their other child. The refrigerator was well stocked with milk, beer, adult food. So it wasn't like they were destitute and everybody was starving to death. There was an empty box that would have contained a case of beer in the photographs of the scene. So we dismiss the narrative that these people had no choices. They had a vehicle. In fact, the records indicate they had 2 vehicles. They had been to Walmart the day before this happened. Why not pick up some baby formula while you're at Walmart? Or if you have a vehicle, take the baby to the doctor, go to the emergency room. I hope that the board was able to view the pictures that I emailed and see how no rational person could look at that poor, emaciated baby and not do something. Take him to the emergency room, take him to the doctor, take him to a fire station and drop him off where he would have a chance for strangers to take care of him. So I think there were a lot of options that these people chose not to take. All the doctors that testified in this case said that this baby could have been saved, that he didn't have to die. And so I appreciate the comments from Miss Wood's family. My heart goes out to them. They are victims in this too. I can't imagine what it was like for them. I think it's a huge sign of their moral character that they're behind her. But the role of the district attorney's office is to see that justice is served and to speak for those who can't speak for themselves, like baby Emmanuel. There were over 1 million people that evacuated New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina, but how many of them let their baby starve to death? Miss Woods was 25 years old. She had 3 other kids. She wasn't a new teenage mom. She had a common law husband who was there. He had a job at McDonald's and was working. They were getting FEMA money. They were getting WIC. Even when the WIC ran out, there's no excuse for feeding your baby watered down powdered milk. That just doesn't make any sense for any rational person to do such a thing. So, we also had time, the baby, as you all know, died on November 27th of 2005. This case took a lot of investigation and obtaining records, and so Ms. Woods wasn't indicted until September of 2006, which gave us about 10 months.
I'm sorry.
There were lots of psychiatric evaluations. By the way, I'm not sure if the board is aware that this was not the first time that one of Miss Woods's children had suffered from malnourishment. Prior to baby Emmanuel's death, they had been involved with CPS baby formula, and she admitted at her trial that she knew that the baby needed formula. And she had already gone through this, giving a baby watered down milk with another one of her children. So it doesn't hold water, but she said about being the aftermath of Katrina. Ma'am?
We're having a lot of computer
Can you hear me?
interference. Can, yes.
Not now.
I don't have good internet. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
She's calling in.
I think we got the gist of it. Ms. Fitzgerald, because of the computer issue, I think we've got the gist of what you were communicating. Okay, so thank you very much for your comments and being with us. So now, does the panel have any questions, Mr. Balrog?
No questions.
Leon answered my questions.
Okay. So we've heard from everyone. Tiffany, I'd like to give you one last opportunity to make a statement before the panel would vote.
First and foremost, I will say thank you for this opportunity. Secondly, I understand that this crime shouldn't have never happened, but it did. I did not intend to harm my son. He's gone. I cannot get him back. I wish I could. I tore my family apart because of the decision that I made. There's no excuse, and I'm not sitting here making one. But I can say that I love my children, every last one of them. Always did, always will. I was a young mother, yes. But at the end of the day, I was still a mother. I tried my best. And sometimes your best is not good enough. But I can say that I did all that I could have done. And the pertaining to my son's passing, I had a hand into that. And I tore everything apart. And I cannot say that I can't get it back, and I wish I could. I wish I could get him back, but he's gone. But my children that remains is still here, and I would love to have a relationship with them outside of here. I can't say that just because Katrina happened, that's an excuse. It's not. But Katrina did happen. And I left because I wanted to save myself and my children. Foremost, I wanted to save them. And again, I can't say nothing else, but I'm not that person that I was back then. I grieve my son every day.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
If I may, can I just clarify just a couple things from my record?
I don't think at this time it would be appropriate.
Okay.
All right. I'm assigned the case, so I'll get to be the one to vote first. Before I vote, I do need to acknowledge that you're doing a good job where you are, that you completed a lot of good programs, which we didn't get into a whole lot of details about, but there's a lot of programs you completed that are very good. You have a low risk on your Tiger score. You got many letters of support from friends, family, employees. You are a true first offender. This is the first crime you ever committed. And there's no victim opposition. We have law enforcement opposition, but no victim opposition. So all of that being said, I'm going to vote today to grant parole to the Parole Project for a minimum of 1 year, that you take mental health classes, substance abuse classes, parenting classes, whatever they have to offer at the Parole Project. I want you busy with classes the whole time you're there.
Or a job.
And what?
Or a job.
And a job. Ms. Lou said, or a job. I said, and a job. So we want you to be busy. And that's my vote.
Stapleton.
I agree with everything that Mr. Byron just said. Everything. And then I saw the pictures of the baby. And then, you know, we heard Leon describe the situation. Based upon what I saw and what I heard from Leon as reasons why they indicted you and you were found guilty of the crime of second-degree murder. You did get life, and then it was reduced to 36 years, of which you served half of, 18 of the 36 years. And you've done remarkable, wonderful things. But because of the condition of the child and the circumstances that the DA's office described, I am not going to be able to grant you parole today, and extreme law enforcement opposition.
Ms. Woods, my vote today is grant parole to the Parole Project. You have you pose no risk to public safety. You have done an excellent job of rehabilitation. Your conduct has been very good, and your plans for reentering are excellent. But at this time, you needed a unanimous vote. So today, your parole has been denied. We wish you well. Thank you very much. And that concludes our business there at LCIW.
Yes, ma'am.